Welcome back to The Explainer. Have you ever looked at one of those highly specific, ultra low cost internet marketing offers and thought to yourself, wait, can this actually deliver real traffic? I'm talking about those absolute bottom of the barrel price tags that just sound way too good to be true. Well, today we're taking out our digital scalpels to perform a complete forensic autopsy together on one of the most intriguing offers out there right now. Look, if you've spent any time in the make money online space, you already know that cheap traffic is usually all hype. You've definitely seen them, those endless sales letters promising you the moon, explosive traffic, instant wealth, all while being incredibly, frustratingly vague about where the actual clicks come from. But today, we're stripping away the sales pitch completely. Let's just look entirely at the data, the core mechanics, and the raw reality of what you are actually buying. Okay, let's dive into this, because this incredibly low front-end price point is exactly what grabs your attention right out of the gate. This is the bedrock of an offer by a veteran traffic provider named Philip Ruhr, a guy who's been in this game since 2008. A single dollar bill. It's about as low risk an entry point as exists in the paid traffic space today. But you really have to ask yourself, what is that $1 actually doing behind the scenes?
What stands out immediately in the source material is the massive contrast in marketing strategy here. Over on the left, you've got your typical traffic offers, right? They stack up wild testimonials, dubious screenshots, and tons of flashy language. But on the right, we have the dollar clicks approach. It is deadpan, short, and totally matter of fact. The sales page skips all the usual hype and openly lists the exact traffic mechanics, the accepted niches, and all the rules. Honestly, it's practically unheard of for a low-priced offer to be this completely transparent right from the start.
So here's our highly organized roadmap for this explainer. First, the $1 promise, then decoding the traffic sources, the Tier 1 truth, the fine print requirements, inside the upsell funnel, and finally, is it actually worth a dollar? Let's move to and see how this builds as we examine Section 1, the $1 promise.
According to the review data from its July 1, 2026 launch window, there is absolutely no trick to this initial offer. You pay $1, you submit your link, and you get exactly what is stated on the tin: 100 unique Tier 1 visitors delivered within a few days. It's a complete, standalone transaction. But as we all know, a visitor can mean a whole lot of different things on the internet, right?
Which brings us to Section 2, decoding the traffic sources. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer variety in this mixed funnel. The source material reveals that the traffic comes from a huge blend of all these channels. You've got some paid ad networks, sure, but you also have pop-unders, rotator redirects, and residual traffic from parked domains. And this is absolutely crucial to understand. Some of this is very low-intent traffic by its very nature. For instance, some of these rotator redirects run through security check pages like llpgpro.com, where a user is just sitting on a Cloudflare screen waiting for a bot check to clear before they're blindly redirected to your site. They didn't search for your product, they just kind of ended up there. Let's shift gears to Section 3, the Tier 1 truth. So, Tier 1 specifies these exact 5 countries. Now, this is definitely a much more valuable claim than some generic worldwide traffic offer, because obviously these countries generally carry higher purchasing power. It's essentially the gold standard for most CPA networks and affiliate programs. However, you've got to remember that geography merely narrows down where the visitors are from, not how engaged they are. I mean, a bored guy accidentally clicking a pop-under in New Zealand is technically a Tier 1 click, but it doesn't mean he's ready to pull out his credit card. Moving on to Section 4, the fine print requirements. In our modern digital age, where we literally get annoyed if a streaming video buffers for 3 seconds, this process, well, actually, scratch that. It feels more like it's being handled by carrier pigeon. The setup is completely manual. You submit your link, and then you have to sit around and wait up to 24 hours just to get an email with your tracking link. And then the traffic trickles in over a few days. This is not some instant automated click delivery system. You're definitely going to need a little patience here. And here's the catch. You can't just send this traffic anywhere you want. The source explicitly points out some incredibly strict niche limitations. Your link absolutely has to fall into internet marketing, business opportunity, work from home, make money online, or crypto. If you try to submit a link for, say, your local plumbing business or a general e-commerce store selling graphic tees, it's going to be rejected at the vendor's sole discretion. This is highly, highly compartmentalized traffic. There's also a remarkably strict broken link policy. It is entirely your responsibility as the buyer to keep your link active. If the vendor's system detects your link isn't working, boom, they pause it for a week. If it stays broken, it gets archived, and eventually your data is permanently wiped out. It's a very pragmatic system designed to keep their traffic rotators totally clean, so you really have to stay on top of your own links to avoid losing out. Now, for Section 5, inside the upsell funnel. And this brilliantly illustrates the back-end labyrinth. Look, a vendor doesn't survive in this space since 2008 by only making $1 at a time. The front-end offer with 100% affiliate commission is just a loss leader designed to acquire you as a customer. Once you buy in, you're presented with a massive 6-tier upsell sequence. They're offering faster delivery for $12 to $17, VIP recurring 3 to 6 month traffic rotations for up to $37, and massive volume packages of 3,000 to 5,000 clicks. This right here is where the vendor actually turns a profit. Now, you don't have to buy any of these. That front-end offer stands completely on its own. But this table reveals the true architecture of the entire business model.
Finally, Section 6. Is it worth $1?
The pragmatic reality of the situation is laid out right here. This is a fantastic, incredibly cheap visibility tool for budget-conscious testers. If you just need to make sure your squeeze page actually loads, check that your tracking pixel fires properly, or just seed a retargeting audience with basic Tier 1 visitors, a single dollar is a phenomenal price. But on the flip side, it is a terrible strategy if you are searching for high-intent buyers ready to purchase high-ticket items, or if you operate anywhere outside those very specific make-money online niches we talked about. So, the crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote straight from the source review. A 100-click sample is simply way too small for reliable ROI measurement. You just cannot accurately judge the conversion rate of a brand new sales funnel based on 100 clicks coming from a random mix of pop-unders and park domains. It's just not statistically significant in any way. You really have to treat this as exactly what it is, an operational test. I'm going to leave you with this thought to ponder. We spend so much time absolutely obsessed with expensive, high-converting traffic, but sometimes, you just need to figure out if the plumbing of your website actually works before you turn on the wildly expensive water. At exactly 1 cent a click, how do you value your own data? And where does highly transparent, incredibly cheap, but undeniably low-intent traffic actually fit into your broader marketing strategy? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.